Now we're going to move to an online talk by Marta Yebra, Professor Marta Yebra. She's at the Fenner School of Environment and Society and the School of Engineering at ANU. And she's going to talk about, so if we can share maybe. So Marta is going to present ANU Bushfire Initiative, an integrated defense system to protect Australia from catastrophic bushfires. Go ahead, please, Marta.
Thank you very much. Just checking you can hear me well. Yes, okay. Well, yes, today I'm going to give you indeed a very brief overview of our integrated research initiative to protect Australia from catastrophic bushfires and using a set of technologies that I will be presenting. So as we all know, Australia has experienced catastrophic bushfire conditions that exceed known firefighting technologies. During the 1920 bushfire season, numerous fires were ignited by lightning strikes and burned extensive areas. And this was largely because of an inability to detect and extinguish ignitions in remote areas before the fires spread and become uncontrollable. So it is clear that we need a novel approach that harnesses modern technologies and that is successful in reducing the risk of large-scale bushfires under these extreme conditions. So the Australian National University is undertaking interdisciplinary research to develop an innovative and integrated national system to detect the bushfires as soon as they start and extinguish them within minutes. And this is just an impression, artist's impression of our aspirational goal. There we go. So to achieve this ambition, we have developed a research initiative with 6 programs that cover from fire prevention to suppression, as is illustrated in this slide. Just in a nutshell, Program 1 recognizes the importance of preventive methods, and our main objective is to evaluate the effectiveness of ecological fire risk reduction strategies, and also provide better information about better fuel mapping techniques at national scale that can fit into the next generation of fire risk models and behaviors. Program 2 aims to identifying which lightning strikes within an individual storm are most likely to ignite an ignition. And this allows a faster response of ignition detection technologies that we are developing in Program 3. So Program 3 is the core of a recently established ANU Optus, Bushfire Research Center of Excellence, and is developing an optimized integrated ledger high-tech solution to detect small fires with a program that will run until 2025, and I'm the director of the program. Obviously, there is no point detecting fires quickly if they cannot be rapidly communicated and extinguished. So Program 4 and 5 will address that need. And we will be developing novel methodologies to process a vast amount of data, big data, so information on areas of high risk and new ignitions can be communicated in real time to an innovative suppression vehicle, the water gliders that we are prototyping in Program 5. Finally, Program 6 will look at all 16 regulatory regimes around airborne technologies, and will also perform economical analysis for the different options for detection and suppression. So given the allocated time for my talk today, I'm going to mainly focus on giving more information about Programs 1, 3, and 5. So one of the objectives of Program 1 is to provide better fuel mapping at national scale. And over the last decades, we've been using satellites data to know where are areas in the landscape that have a lot of fuel load and is very dry, and this facilitate fire emissions and extreme fire behaviors. However, to get this information, Australia currently relies on foreign satellites, which are not optimized for measuring our unique bushfire landscape and its highly flammable eucalypt trees. So recognizing this, we are designing AusFuel. AusFuel is an Australian macro satellite mission to monitor fuel conditions and predict bushfire-prone areas from low Earth orbit satellites. And if you want to know a lot more about the specifications of the mission, you can download this report that we recently published. So the core of the partnership with Optus that I mentioned previously is ignition detection with a layered approach that combines different detection technologies because different detection technologies can achieve only together the objective of inspecting large areas, the whole Australia, and detecting a small fire. And this is, for example, we have on one side geostationary satellites that provide surveillance across Australia, but they may not be able to identify small ignitions because of the current spatial resolution of these systems that is normally around 2 kilometers, for example, with the Japanese satellite Imawari 8. Then we have low Earth orbit satellites that can detect smaller fires because they fly lower, but only emit the same location twice a day. So they obviously miss a lot of fires. On the other hand, we have drones, for example, that they have dynamic coverage and they can be directed to high-risk areas, detect smaller fires than satellites, and they also fly under cloud cover, so they overcome some limitations of satellites under cloudy conditions. And finally, cameras on towers and on ground sensors on your right have a limited spatial coverage per camera or sensor, but this can be strategically located in areas of elevated risk or conservation value to detect small fires. So again, it's an approach combining all these technologies that can only achieve the objective that we have of detecting small fires. This year, we have commenced the deployment of the 3 technologies that I highlight in this square. And I'm going to give a bit more detail. So the first project is on automatic ignition detection using artificial intelligence and cameras on towers. In this project, we have deployed 6 cameras across 4 fire towers in the ACT to assess the viability of automatic monitoring for early bushfire detection. Of course, this is not new. This technology is existing, but at the moment it has a lot rate of false positives. And also the approaches that currently exist don't allow to estimate the source of the smoke. And we are developing a new technology that with a very detailed pixel-based segmentation of the smoke plume that can be more easily track the emission source. And the preliminary results are quite promising. Moving quickly into the drone project, the overall goal here is to use drones and networks to achieve fast identification, location, and verification of bushfire emissions. Specifically, we are focusing on emissions due to lighting during dry thunderstorms. So the advantages of drones is that they are fast, they can operate in all weather, on day and night, and this overcomes some of the current limitations of current practice. Program 5 will address the need to rapidly extinguish ignitions with an innovative suppression vehicle. The GPS guided water gliders have been designed and prototyped to suppress fires when they are small. So these water gliders, and here you see a picture of the prototype. So this is a very small scale water glider. These are very safe, and they can be deployed from high altitudes with very high accuracy and control also over the spread of the water, and can operate during day and night. And again, this overcomes some limitations of current technologies for aerial firefighting that normally involve low-level flying, and they can operate under dangerous weather conditions, for example. Just almost finalizing, we have also done a lot of simulations of the approach to rapid detection and suppression of lightning emissions. And this indicated that the system we are proposing can manage thousands of strikes and hundreds of consequential emissions over forests of Southeast Australian within an average detection time of less than 12 minutes if we use 200 drones, and less as we increase the number of drones, of course. So this is a balance between response times and budget and resources. But if the technology allows us to increase the speed of the drones to, for example, 125 kilometers per hour, and we incorporate outputs of our program too, that will allow us to identify with accuracy the strikes that are capable of igniting a fire, this will result in significant decreases in response time or the need of less drones. In terms of suppression, the simulations we have done with, for example, 9 aircrafts that are pre-located in 16 airfields across the region, each with a payload of 32 half-a-ton water gliders, and assuming that we need 4 water gliders per mission to be deployed. And this is, of course, something that we still need to prove. This will result in less than 10 minutes to extinguish the 4,200 emissions that we model in this modeling exercise. So that was a very quick overview, but yeah, I hope you find it interesting, and please, if you have any questions, I think now's the time.
Thank you, Marta. Let's put our hands together. So we have one online question.
Yes, Marta, Oscar Perez Concha is asking, how accurate is the camera technology? Many false positive or false negative examples?
Yes, at the moment, there are more false positives because the smoke of fires are normally confused with other features that are similar. It could be clouds, it could be fog, and yesterday an end user was telling me about the summer nuts burnouts that sometimes also confuse highly the fire towers. So there are a lot of features in the landscape that are similar to smoke, and that confuse the machine learning algorithms. So normally they suffer of false positive more than false negatives.
I think there's another question on the chat.
Yes, Miguel Hernandez Prieto is asking, nice talk. Would lighting rods be also a solution?
What's a lighting rod? Sorry, Miguel, I don't know what's a lighting rod.
Para rayos.
Oh, thank you. Yes, sorry, my English sometimes. Yes, that can be. So indeed, if you can prevent lighting to hit fuels that you know, or areas where you know there is a high fuel load and that fuel is very dry, if you can have a technology that prevents lighting to hit those areas, that can be also a solution. It's something we are not incorporating, but it's been discussed as well.
Thank you, Marta. I guess that's the advantage of being a Spaniard among a lot of Spaniards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.